Hello, grade threes, and welcome to your social studies lesson. I'm going to do things a bit differently this week for week 13. So we are on page number 80, 88, 89, and 90 in your social studies student books. But instead of starting on the very first page of lesson number 5, I'm going to start on the last page of lesson number 5 for this lesson because it's quite interesting, and you're learning a lot about culture and things like that from English as well as social studies. And then, so I'm going to jump right in, and I'm going to just open up your student book. And on page 90 is the cultural festivals and events for Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. So, and for Muslims in general. So I'm going to save the previous 2 pages for the next lesson because it has a very cool activity in it as well. So in this lesson, you can have a look on the page. At the top, it says cultural festivals and events. Islamic culture is kept alive by festivals and events in the Middle East. So all over the world, there are Muslims, and Muslims also celebrate similar events or festivals as they do in Saudi Arabia, which I will get to in a minute. So the Saudi Arabian National Day, which is one of the public or national, the public or important holidays in Saudi Arabia, which I've come to know since I've been here. So the Saudi National Day is on September 23rd each year, and we celebrate the unification of Saudi Arabia by King Abdulaziz in 1932. So a bit of background or a bit of history about the Saudi Arabian National Day. It's basically where King Abdulaziz conquered Saudi Arabia and united the kingdom with the different parts and different tribes came together to form the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and therefore it is called Saudi Arabia because King Abdulaziz's last name is King Abdulaziz Al Saud, so that is why the kingdom is called the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia since 1932. And the House of Al Saud has ruled the country since 1932, whereby we had kings and princes from the royal bloodline. So onto the festival. So the Muslim New Year takes place on the first day of Muharram, which we know, and marks the first month of the Islamic year. And like you know, the Islamic calendar has 11 months in it because we follow a lunar cycle instead of following the Gregorian calendar, where it has 12 months in it. And also Eid al-Fitr marks the end of Ramadan. So that is the first Eid for a Muslim year. And then Eid al-Adha celebrates the completion of Hajj rites at Mina. So all the pilgrims and Hujjaj, they perform their Islamic duties and obligations in the Hajj, and at the end of Hajj, Eid al-Adha marks the end or the completion of that. Usually at the end of that period as well, it is customary to slaughter sheep or lambs as a sacrifice, which is something that is practiced all over the world as well. And you don't necessarily need to be a Hujjaj or be a pilgrim to do that. People slaughter sheep on Eid al-Adha all over the world every year. I know we do it back home in South Africa as well. And then lastly, the Al Janadriya Heritage and Cultural Festival celebrates the rich Islamic history and culture. So that's quite interesting. It takes place every year and it's very much fun. I actually went ahead and Googled it, and it looks quite amazing. So speaking about the Islamic or the Muslim New Year, I'm going to show you how New Year compares with Islam and various other cultures. So pay attention to the PowerPoint presentation that I'm about to bring up for you. So in different cultures and different religions, the New Year is celebrated differently. So in the Indian New Year, there is a festival of lights, which is called Diwali, and they light little oil lamps called Diva, and they are lit for 3 days, and then it basically to pay homage or to praise the God that they worship, thanking them for a new year. And then we've got the Pakistani New Year is known as Nowruz, and this means new day. One of the customs of Nowruz is the burning of piles of wood in huge bonfires. So people have huge fires, as you can see in the picture over here. They celebrate their Nowruz with a big fire, and it represents a cleansing of the old and bringing in the new. The Iranian New Year is called Nowruz as well, which is just spelled differently, begins with the sound of cannons in every town. So this is also known as Nowruz, but it is a completely different thing because obviously Pakistanis and Iranians come from completely different backgrounds and also have different cultures. So they sound cannons at the start of every New Year in every town of the um, Iranian country. And then the Chinese New Year celebrates um, is called Yuan Tan with parades in the streets. So this is quite fun. I've actually seen movies and a couple of videos where Chinese New Year is displayed. So these are called Komodo dragons, and people are inside it. A lot of people, because it stretches for meters and meters, sometimes even a kilometer. So Yuan Tan is a parade in the street where there's lots of food and music and cheering and lots of dances in the road. So inside the dragons and lions, so they have lions as well, dance their way through the crowded streets, and the people cheer them on as they go along. And then this is basically just something put together that is how to say Happy New Year or New Year greetings from different parts of the world. So you can see Arabic is something here. I'm going to attempt pronouncing it. Kul aam Quantum Salimun. I don't know if I butchered that, but I tried. And then we've got Czechoslovakia, we've got Chinese, Chu Shen Tan, which means Happy New Year. And then in Brazilian, Boas Festas e Feliz. Ano Novo means good parties and Happy New Year. In Dutch, Gelukkig Nieuwe Jaar. Finnish, Onelista Uta Vuota. This is not necessarily something that you should know, but it's interesting to know. And also when we learn about our culture, it's good to learn about other people's culture as well to see how they compare to others. And it's also very good to know in case you travel and you meet different people from different parts of the world, it's good to know a bit about their culture. So it's kind of building rapport with these people from all over the world, of foreign people. And that way you broaden your horizon and also your vocabulary and your knowledge of the world. Um, so guys, I'm going to see you in the next lesson where I'm going to start with also celebrating culture, but with different stories, with a little activity for you as well. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how the New Year is celebrated across the world, and also good to remember how you celebrate different festivals within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So I will see you next time, and thank you so much for tuning in.